So back in CapCut, first we upload our bed files. Ensure your files are labeled in a clear and easily retrievable manner. For instance, I have beds distant rumble, so it's easy for me to find that sound. You could label in layers, for instance, beds A layer or B layer. Just ensure it's easy for you to find. The next thing we must do is extract the audio generated by the AI. To extract, select the video clip and right-click. Find the extract audio and click. Now the audio file has been extracted from the video clip. The next thing we're going to do is try and separate the audio. So we ensure we're in the basic menu, then we scroll down, find separate audio, select that, and you see different options. You have the vocals, instruments, drums, and others. And we'll be selecting others and instruments. The idea here is to break the audio files down into sub-files. And sometimes it works. You get sounds you could use in any layer, beds, foley, or design emotion, even punctuation layer. But let's see what we got here. As you can see, we now have 3 separate files from that one file. Now let's have a listen to see if they're useful. Now the first file appears to be blank. Let's mute the other 2 files and have a listen. If it's blank, we'll delete it. So confirm this is a blank file. So right-click, select it, right-click, and click delete. Okay, that's same as before. Is the background fire. Just a quick reminder, so I'm increasing the volume and reducing it using the clip itself and not going up to the volume controls, because you can do that when the double-headed arrow appears. That's pretty much the same as the last file, so no separation occurred here. For now, we'll mute both files and go on to extract others.
You always had a You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up. You've got one last bride.
Now the Foley here is so beautiful, would have to reuse it because that's the fading sound of the footsteps, and yes, we'll definitely reuse this sound. Now that done, let's start building our beds layer. We'll be using the sound prompt sheet we gave to you to build your sound files, and the bed is section A. So hope that's in front of you. If you couldn't hear the sound, it means you need your headphones, because these are low frequency sounds. You see, I generated a number of beds here. However, would only be using, say, 3 to 6 of them. So now let's drop the distant battlefield rumble subbed. Drag and drop that. Make sure it starts at the very beginning. Increase the volume to make it audible on your laptop without the headphones. At this point, I'm listening without my headphones, and this is a practice you should have. Oscillate between headphones and no headphones. Headphones for the subtle low frequency, and no headphones so you know or hear how it will sound on speakers or on your phone. So I'm reducing the volume to eliminate that ringing sound you hear, which is typical of low frequency AI sounds.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
So now I'm copying the audio file and I'm going to paste it across the whole length of the movie. As you know, the beds is the background layer and it is the continuous sound you hear throughout the movie. Now to do that, I select the audio file, right click, select copy, move the playhead to the end of the first bed and Control V or paste. So Control V is a shortcut for paste.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I fought.
So what did I just do? I just copied the audio file and pasted it below. I'm doubling up. I'm basically layering sound upon sound rather than increasing the volume, because increasing the volume would increase that ringing sound. So reduce the volume and layer the right sounds together and you still have the volume you need. So you're going to observe me tinkering with the volume, mostly reducing it. Why? One, the beds should not overpower the scene or the space. It should be the underground background layer, subtle its head, but not overpowering. And secondly, I want to eliminate that ringing, continuous ringing sound.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I fought. It would save lives. But I burned everything down.
So I just noticed I didn't extract that audio, so I'm extracting it now and muting it. So copying and pasting the same beds file, the beds rumble version 1 file underneath so it fills the whole space. Now I'm ensuring the files at the top of the layer have the same volume and the ones below are lower, somewhere around 9.2 decibels.
but I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up. You've got one last bride.
So let's add a different version of the distant rumble. This is version 7, and see how that adds to the beds layer.
Everything down. Riley, I'm sorry.
Did you notice that? It added some enrichment, some rumbling, some really nice low frequency rumbling to the beds layer. So now let's add the wind and dust bed. We'll be using prompt from the extra prompt section for the wind bed, and that's because the section A wind was too gusty, and what we want is light wind. So first, let's listen to section A wind and then the extra prompt wind. Let's place beds, wind, dust, version 1 down. And here I'm lifting it up to the top layer of the beds files. And this is really just for ease of access. Now you're going to observe me reduce the volumes of the different files.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
Now let's copy and paste wind version 1 on the other side so it fills the space.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up. You've got.
Now let's add another wind layer. This time I want something that rises and falls so it depicts the flow of the wind as it ebbs and rises. This Wind and Dust Clean version 3 audio file does just that. So we'll be using that file. Bring it down.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up.
So in case you missed that, the audio was reduced to minus 6.5 decibels.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
Okay, now I'm happy with the volume. Let's copy that file and paste it to fill the whole bed layer.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Okay, I'm going to reduce the volume further because the bed should be more subtle to 6 decibels. So reducing to 6 decibels. Moving on, let's add another bed layer. This time it would either be the distant fire flicker or the distant metal groans. Okay, let's add this metal groaning sound.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down.
Copy and paste, Control V, paste, or Command V on your MacBook.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up. You've got one last bride. You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. but I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up.
Now let's increase the volume of the dialogue so it doesn't suffocate under layers and layers of beds and designed emotion. Yes, we would duck under the layers, but however, we want the dialogue to feel like it belongs in the space. So extract the audio and increase the volume to 8.2 decibels for now.
I thought it would save lives.
Now let's select normalize audio. This is CapCut's way of equalizing the sound.
I thought it would save lives.
Now we'll repeat the same process for the rest of the dialogue.
For wreck.
I also use the enhance voice feature, which improves the voice to studio quality, reducing noise.
You always had a talent.
As you know, you don't have to extract the audio to increase the volume. You can simply go to the audio section and do the same thing. Increase the volume, enhance the sound, or normalize it.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down.
So let's add another version of the metal groaning sound. Now, each version is simply a new regen of the same sound prompt. These variations are useful because they let you layer slightly different textures of the same sound, which makes the environment feel more natural, dynamic, and less repetitive. So we're going with Metal Grown version 2, and I'm going to place it somewhere in the middle. And imagine the ship is in the background and you can hear the metal groan as it burns.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up. You've got one last bride.
Let's listen in full screen.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up. You've got one last bride.
Let's add the distant fire flicker sound to the last scene where Alex is taken away. So I'm listening for an occasional flicker sound, not busy, just so it feels more natural. Fire Flicker version 7 fits the bill, so we'll put that down at the end.
But I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up. You've got one last bride.
So I'm trying to move it. I'm moving it to match the flying embers because where you have embers, you have sparks. That works for now. So I'll be trimming off the excess I do not need. So delete right. We're almost done, but I feel we need one more metal groaning sound in the middle, right about here. So we see the burning ship in the background, and I think it's missing that sound, a different variant of the metal groaning sound. So let's find one. Now that sounds like it belongs at the end in the takeaway frame, not in the middle. Now let's reduce the volume to at least 15 decibels. And let's place the playhead at the end and trim the excess. Delete right.
You always had a talent for wreckage.
So the middle still feels hollow. So let's add a metal groaning sound there. And we're looking for something different from the others we've used. So let's use version 11 and place it here. It has a nice subtle tone.
Had a talent for wreckage.
I thought it would save lives. But I burned everything down. Riley, I'm sorry. I am sorry.
Get up. You've got one last bride.
Let's move Metal Grown 10 closer to the end of One Last Ride.
Last bride. One last bride. Bride.
And that's a wrap for the beds layer.